So in my previous video, I talked about what an art practice is, right? An organized series of things that you do that contribute to the making of art, though not actually necessarily art activities. Today, we're going to talk about sort of why you would want to have an art practice. Why not just make art? Like, why do you need a practice? It's such a good question, and I'm actually going to use a metaphor because I think metaphors are sometimes easier to understand. Let's talk about running. Anybody can go for a run. You can tie up your sneakers, run out your door. Most people, it's very accessible to go, running in your neighborhood. And that's the same as with art, right? You don't have to know anything to make art. You don't have to know anything to go running. Now, you might find a situation where if you know a little bit of something, you could avoid a running injury. If you do some reading up on like the latest sneakers and sneaker trends and all that kind of stuff, you might find some sneakers that make you more comfortable or improve your performance or something like that. You might find that you wish to join a running group to keep you motivated and going. You might want to train for a marathon and train pretty seriously where you end up dedicating like enormous portions of your time and money and all sorts of stuff, even though it's not like running is your profession, right? It's your hobby. It's for fun, but you want to be good at it. You want to be better at it. You want to push yourself. It's not like you're expecting to go to the Olympics, right? So art is exactly the same way. You can be a hobbyist and want to be better. You can want to invest in yourself. You can want to know more. You can want to be able to train better. Essentially, what an art practice does for you is it helps you train faster. It helps you train better. And I think it makes it more fun along the way. There are also three big benefits that I want to talk about. So benefit number one is sustainability. And usually when we talk about sustainability, we're talking about something that's like eco-friendly and stuff like that. And this is kind of like that, but it's more about you don't want to burn out your body the same way that you might burn out the planet, right? You don't want to create a situation where you just like, you can't bear to look at it, you're overwhelmed, you're too tired, you don't want to do it, or you've been worked too hard, you don't have any energy, you feel like you're depleted of ideas, it's not fun anymore. Like, we don't want any of that. We want to be able to keep a very even and sustainable journey through our art practice. And really by having like a system, an art practice is a system, that is what allows you to add sustainable creativity into your work. It means that you can create even when, the muse isn't there. You can consistently make good work. All of that is possible with an art practice. So the second thing is what I would call professional development or professional skills. And a lot of these are things about presentation. Photographing your work, matting your work, talking about your work, talking about yourself, talking to other people about your work, learning, understanding, if you wanted to enter something into an art show, if you wanted to sell your work, like how would any of that work? These are all the professional skills that you might be interested in. And an art practice really helps you with those because an art practice in so many ways is about making sure that you're integrating what you're making with what you're thinking or what you're making with what you're feeling, that your messaging is on point so that this is more than hundreds of tiny pieces of paper, right? It's a message. It's something that I'm thinking about. My work happens to be a lot about identity. I'm particularly interested in how things combine and come together and push apart from each other. And so you can see that hundreds of tiny pieces of paper contribute into that message. So as I'm working through these pieces, I'm thinking a lot about my ideas as well. And that's really how an art practice can help you. Number three, and the thing that we probably all really want an art practice to do, or at least I know that I do, is that an art practice helps you improve your skills. It's all about consistency. It's all about regular practice. It's all about pushing yourself towards regular exploration. There's that whole 10,000 hours thing that Malcolm Gladwell came up with, where you become an expert after 10,000 hours of doing something. And while sometimes I think that that's true, I don't think it's just like massing a certain amount of time doing something. I think it actually has to be intelligent practice. I think it has to be thoughtful practice. I think it has to involve analysis and being pushed to go in different directions and, a whole panoply of stuff beyond just doing. And an art practice gives you that structure so that you can practice effectively, and it's like if you go run out of your house, on a run, that's great. But if you run out of your house with a goal, you know how far you made it the day before, you have a sense of what would be pushing yourself to do it, you're, working maybe on changing your stride or something, like all of these things are a conscious way of running in which you're going to improve yourself. And so art is the same way. So my 20-second recap is just to say that an art practice is a system, and a system helps you to improve more rapidly, more consistently. And over at myartpractice.com, that's what we do, is we help you create a personalized art practice, and we work with you to sort of hone it, make it fit you, and then of course to create a sustainable art practice that can keep you creative for the rest of your life.